So the Kel-Tec has been pretty much flawless for us reliability-wise. We haven't had any major issues with it. You do have to adjust the gas settings for brass case versus steel case, but once you set it, it works, right?
Yeah, we did find that with the steel, you needed to go up on the gas a little bit just because Wolf tends to be underpowered.
Yep, couple clicks.
And we saw some end user mistakes in handling the gun that induced some issues, but it was not the gun itself failing.
Yeah, so that kind of leads me to wonder how it would do with the mud test.
This gun being the way it's designed and being a bullpup and sealed up the way it is, my prediction is we're going to find this thing runs flawlessly.
I kind of think so as well. I think the ejection is forceful enough that it will clear out whatever gets jammed up in the ejection area.
Yeah, and I think we even did some footage of me firing the gun upside down.
Yeah.
Yep, so
works them out. So we have made ourselves here some pretty darn disgusting gloopy mud. And we're going to just dunk this sucker in there and see if it runs. Now, we're going to do the mud test with the a magazine in it of 20 rounds. But first, of course, we do want to demonstrate that the gun does run properly when it's not muddy. So I took the optic off because we don't need to get that all muddy. You have yours? Locked open?
Yep. There it is. So 5 rounds, no problem, clean. So we're going to tape that muzzle up and dunk it in the goo and do 20.
All right, let's do it. All right, we went ahead and taped the muzzle up here. Obviously, getting mud in the bore, clogging the bore, and then exploding the gun isn't a mud reliability test. That's just a basic safety thing. So I'm going to go ahead, got my 20-round magazine. I'm going to go ahead and charge it and run this with the round chambered and on safe. So here we go. Let's get this. Ooh, that's cold too. How much more do you think it needs?
That's pretty good.
You think that'll do it?
Yeah, well, you know what, dump it again.
You think it'll run?
I'm sure it's going to run, actually.
You think I can find the safety?
I think you can find the safety.
There's the safety. All right. Well, I have 1 round malfunction. I think where did it go bad? I can't find the controls on here. There we go. All right, our mud test may have been a little bit too severe. The bolt's back.
Lock it HK style back, take the mag out.
I can't get it all the way back.
Oh, really?
I think I'm gonna have to take the mag out.
Okay.
So the top of the mag was reasonably well protected.
Yeah. I'm actually surprised, honestly. All right, some live round fell out.
So I think what happened is we puddled a bunch of mud up inside where the bolt reciprocates. And so the bolt can't cycle all the way back.
Oh.
That's what's happening.
Really? All right, well, let's just disassemble it, and, let's see where the mud got in.
All right.
And then let's see if we can do it again. Just talk about it.
So we got mud that accumulated back up in here, and that is where the bolt has to go when it's cycling.
Therefore, it cannot cycle all the way to the rear.
There's simply...
Why don't you hold it like that? We'll dump water in there.
Physical obstruction to it.
Now it's still in there.
Oh yeah, that's good and caked in there.
Is it?
Yep. Give me a little bit of water. We'll just do this a couple times.
Still in there.
Yep. All right, so that was pretty much a complete failure. What ended up happening was we got mud up inside blocking the hammer as well as blocking the travel of the bolt, and it took us a little while and a bunch of water to clean it all out. So we're going to try it again a little bit less severely. First, I'm going to run another 5-round mag just to confirm that we actually have this thing functioning now. All right, we'll go ahead and tape up the muzzle again and try this one more time. So we got a 10 round mag in here. We're on safe. We have a round chambered. We're going to go ahead and try this again a little bit differently. So I'm pretty sure if we dunk it straight in this way, it'll work because we won't actually be overflowing the magazine or the ejection port. The problem we get is when mud gets in here, not that mud stays in there, but it goes all the way up and it fills in this area. That's a problem. And then you've got the area between this metal ejection trough and the outside of the receiver. That's where the hammer is traveling back and forth. And if you get mud in there, it prevents the hammer from moving and that jams the gun up. So if we run it this way, I'm pretty sure it'll pass. My concern is any legitimate, what's actually going to happen in the field is you're going to drop it on its side, or it's going to hit the mag and fall on its side. So I kind of want to test it that way, but I'm going to do it a little less severely. Last time we basically put it underwater in the mud and rolled it over, and we just filled the whole thing up, and that killed it. It is worth pointing out at this point, I think, that an AR-15 does not suffer this problem because it has an ejection port cover. If KelTec had a cover over this, then I think we pretty much would have been fine from the first test. The mud we got in up here wasn't really that much of an issue, but we don't have an ejection port cover, so we need to be a little bit more careful with it.
I would add one thing to that from the side here.
What's that?
Not only on an AR-15 do you have an ejection port cover, but the bolt is also, when in battery, seals that hole closed.
That's true.
You get mud in there and you run the action a couple times. Typically on an AR you can get it to run again. That port on the rear, that ejection port, is truly open all the way down into the receiver because the bolt is in battery currently, and that is an ingress point.
Yep.
So a cover would be a very wise idea.
Yeah, if you're planning on doing anything like this. So, all right, ready? And that really didn't get anything in there. That got mud on me. So I can see that we're not really getting anything inside the ejection area, but we can get it good and gummed up everywhere else. What do you think? Pass this time? You want deeper?
Yeah, a little bit deeper. That was pretty mild.
Do it this way so you guys can see the ejection.
Yep.
How deep?
Put it on its side and dunk it down. Now go. Okay.
All right. Got a dead trigger. Oh. Nope. Bolt is not going into battery.
And it's interesting to note that you do not have any type of forward assist in this action, or
That's
any way
true.
to force the bolt into battery manually. At this point, you are done. You would have to disassemble and clear the gun. Now, this is an extreme situation, clearly. However, there's no real remediation drill to go through within the field at this point. You are transitioning to your handgun.
Yeah, that's the remediation drill at this point.
Yeah.
So, I have... Interesting. I have a stuck case in here.
Interesting. In the feed ramp.
Oh, I have a double feed,
Okay.
which I can't really get out.
The magazine does not appear to have any gunk in it, however.
No, the mag's pretty much clean.
Okay.
Here, let's see if you can see inside there.
Turn it more towards me. More. Okay, now we got it.
So
Yeah, I can see it.
on the closer to the camera there is an empty case that's gotten jammed in the feed ramp. And there is another cartridge. It's either a case or a cartridge, I'm not sure which, mostly chambered.
So it did not get all the way back to eject, is what you're saying. Those are not both live rounds?
Not sure. Tell you what, I'm going to go grab the cleaning rod. I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, so for the record, I am using a cleaning rod from an 1874 French Gras. There we go. Because it's how I roll.
Back up a little bit.
All right, so we had a live round. Oop, we had 2 live rounds.
So a true double feed.
Yeah, but boy, it jammed.
Well, keep in mind, you ran the action and tried to chamber a second round.
That's probably when I did
You
this.
induced a double feed, however, something malfunctioned before that allowed you to do it.
Yeah. So what we had was a failure to fire.
You had a click.
Yep, we had a round chamber.
And then you tried to run the action. It did not extract and eject the live round, but did try to rechamber a new round.
Correct.
Thus a double feed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, this is interesting to note, and this is not only an RDB issue. This is a bullpup issue.
That's true.
Once malfunctions occur in the chamber area of a gun, be it an RDB, an AUG, or an FS2000, or any of these guns, it is a much more difficult issue to clear a bullpup of any type than a traditional rifle.
You know, the thing's cycling. You want me to try another round?
Yeah, do it.
Not in battery.
Not in battery?
There's too much drag somewhere in the operating system and it's not fully chambering.
All right. Let's call it.
Yep.
Run the action, see if you can get the round out.
I'll tell you what, this magazine release is also subject to gunk getting under it from mud.
There's a hole there, isn't there?
No, it's not that there's a hole. It's just these two spring steel pieces bending up off of the receiver.
And they're external.
And it's totally external.
Yeah, good point. Well, this is why you do tests like this. I actually, the gun's been very reliable for us, and we now know what its operating limitations are, and it turns out this tub of mud is it.
It turns out it's just as good as an M14.
Good point.
In the mud.
Yep.